Hello friends, welcome to not Dungeons & Dragonfly actually. This isn't a build for a character per se, it's more of a build for a concept I was pondering while doing my latest build, TF2 Soldier. See, his big thing is the rocket jump, where he detonates an explosive at his feet to propel himself into the air further and faster than he could on his own, so that got me thinking. How far can you push yourself in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition? To start off, we have to make a couple of assumptions that are really dependent on your DM. First, any character can easily hit themselves with a melee attack, but we need to assume that we can do it with a ranged spell attack as well. I picture it kind of like if Iron Man put his own palm against his own chest and then fired off his repulsor, so it shouldn't be that much of a stretch. Certainly a lot easier than shooting ourselves with an arrow. Second, we need to assume that a character can willingly fail saves. It's technically not in the rules, but for certain saves it just makes sense to allow. I might not be able to make my body just accept a poison, but if I don't try to dodge a fireball or go limp when trying to keep something heavy from crushing me, then I'm not going to make that save. And most importantly, we need to assume that if an effect says that it pushes a creature away from us, it'll push us the same distance if we subject ourselves to it. Now, a couple of restrictions. I don't really deal with magic items in my build, so we aren't going to bother with them here. This is all character options, class features, spells, feats, etc. There could be a magic item that lets you push farther. I don't know what it is, and it's not going to be in this. I'm also restricting it to the farthest we can push ourselves in a single round of combat. No overland travel, no preparing on earlier turns or anything like that. And we're restricted to forced movement. This does not include any kind of movement speed, flying, teleportation, nothing. This is just, if we're standing still, how far can we physically push ourselves in one round? So with all that in mind, here's what we do. Start off with 6 levels of Bladesinger Wizard. That gets us the Bladesinger version of Extra Attack, which lets us attack twice with the attack action as normal, but also lets us replace one of those attacks with casting one of our cantrips. It also gets us an ASI that we can use for the Crusher feat. Among other things, that says that once per turn, when we hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, we can push them 5 feet. So if we punch ourselves in the chest, that'll push us 5 feet since unarmed strikes automatically do bludgeoning damage. Next we'll take 3 levels of Warlock. Who our patron is doesn't matter, but it does matter that we take the Pact of the Talisman. For our Eldritch Invocations, we need Rebuke of the Talisman and Repelling Blast. Repelling Blast lets us push a target 10 feet every time we hit them with our Eldritch Blast, and Rebuke of the Talisman says we can use our reaction when the bearer of the talisman is hit by an attack to deal damage to the attacker and push them 10 feet. So that's another 10 feet plus 10 feet per Eldritch Blast beam. And of course, since Eldritch Blast is a cantrip, we can cast it using our attack action thanks to Bladesinger. Next we grab 3 levels in Swarmkeeper Ranger. With Gathered Swarm, we can force a creature we hit with an attack to make a strength save and move them 15 feet on a fail. Since we're the target of the attack, that's another 15 feet. Then we move on to 4 levels of Monk of the Open Hand. We can make a flurry of blows, spending a key point as a bonus action after taking the attack action to make 2 unarmed strikes. Then the Open Hand technique lets us burn key points whenever we hit with one of those flurry attacks to add an extra effect, one of which is to force a strength save, pushing the target 15 feet on a fail. So that's 2 open hand pushes at 15 feet each for a total of 30 more feet. Plus, since we get to 4th level, we can do a little bit of damage mitigation, both with the Monk's Slow Fall and the Tough Feat for 2 extra HP per level. The final piece of this convoluted puzzle is 3 levels of Battle Master Fighter. We get 4 superiority dice that we can use for pushing attack. When we hit a creature with a weapon attack, we can burn a superiority die to force them to make a strength save if they're large or smaller, pushing them 15 feet on a fail. We've also hit 17th level at this point, so we get 4 beams per cast of Eldritch Blast. And as a fighter, we can use Action Surge to take a second action on our turn. So here's how we'll sequence our turn. We take the attack action against ourselves, making an unarmed strike and casting Eldritch Blast thanks to Bladesinger. The unarmed strike pushes us 5 feet from Crusher, then 15 feet from Gathered Swarm, then another 15 from Pushing Attack. The Eldritch Blast fires 4 beams, each one pushing us 10 feet thanks to Repelling Blast. We'll be the bearer of our own talisman, and we got attacked, so we use our reaction for Rebuke of the Talisman, pushing the attacker, who again is also us, 10 feet. Then since we took the attack action, we can use our bonus action for a flurry of blows, 2 unarmed strikes that push us 15 feet each thanks to Open Hand technique, and which can each push another 15 as pushing attacks. Finally, we Action Surge to take a second attack action. 1 last unarmed strike pushes us 15 feet as our last pushing attack, and 1 last Eldritch Blast pushes another 10 feet per beam with Repelling Blast, for a total of 200 feet pushed in a single round, and 4d8 plus 8d10 plus 10 plus 4 times either our strength or dexterity damage. Have fun using yourself as a masochism-powered rocket, and thanks for watching. I will see y'all next time.